Regular meeting order at this time. If we can have a roll call.
Dominic. Lyndon Johnson. Jackson. Lynn.
Here.
Present.
Bowman.
Present.
Hawthorne, Gage Watts. Middleton. Atkins. Chavez. Smith.
Here.
Lewis Johnson.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Okay. If we can all stand at this time, we'll have the invocation by Commissioner Lewis Johnson. And then we're going to ask a special guest to come up and lead us on the Pledge of Allegiance. So let's do the invocation real quick.
Let us pray. Our Father and our God, Lord, we come before you now in the name of Jesus, in whose name there is strength, peace, and fullness of joy. Lord, we thank you for this day, O Lord. We thank you for your grace, and we thank you for your mercy. Lord, we now pray that you would, by your Spirit and by your power, give us, O Lord, the things to say, O God. We pray, O God, that our hearts might be on one accord. We pray, O Lord, that all that we say and all that we do will be pleasing in your sight. Bless this commission, O Lord. Bless those who are present. Bless the citizens of Caddo Parish. This is our prayer in the precious name of Jesus Christ, our Lord, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, we'll all remain standing. We're going to have a special guest, Will Benet. He is in the 3rd grade at South Highlands. He's going to be speaking in a few minutes on some government issues because he's involved in government. And I've asked for him to lead us in the pledge. So we're all going to face the flag, and we'll turn over to you, Will.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job, Will.
Thank you, Will. And we'll get to you in just a few minutes because we know you have a resolution for us. We're going to get presented in a few minutes. So we're moving on to our next item.
Next we have agenda addition.
I think Commissioner Jackson has one agenda addition. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. Commissioners, I'd like to make a motion to add resolution number 37 of 2018 to the agenda, if I can get a second.
It'll be seconded by the chair. We have a motion by Commissioner Jackson to add in resolution number 37. That's been seconded by the chair. We need to open that up for public comments at this time. Does anybody wish to speak in favor or against resolution number 37 before it's being added?
What's it about?
It's concerning and encouraging South Highlands Elementary Magnet School Principal Mary Harris to allow May 4th, 2018 to be Ice Cream Day and otherwise provide with respect thereto. This resolution is being brought to us by Will Benet, and that's being added, and he's going to speak on this resolution in just a few minutes. If everybody's okay with adding and expanding that, we do need 100% of all of your vote to please add this to the agenda.
Do it for Will.
Who's that?
Mr. Atkins.
Voted, it's showing vote yes. There we go.
Okay, that passes unanimously, and we'll come to that in just a few minutes. And no one else has any agenda additions?
Mr. President,
Sure.
if I may, I'd like to invite Mr. Will Benet up. His South Highlands class had to do a project on state and local government, and so he chose me to write about it. He wrote me a letter, and I have his letter, but I invited him to come and sit and shadow the commission today, and to
Does he want to borrow my phone book?
be a part of our commission meeting. And this is kind of keeping and counting. I know it's not April anymore, but April was National Counties Month, and so this will be a sort of an exercise with that. So we're glad to have Mr. Will Benet, and his parents are out here. His mother, his father, brothers, and his grandmother is here. So, and his teacher is here as well. So we're glad to have him.
Well, first of all, I'd just like to thank Will for coming up today, and thank you, parents, and all y'all involved. So, Will, thank you for coming today. I appreciate you leading us in the pledge today. We look forward to your resolution in a few minutes, okay?
That just means I can go home.
No. All right, so we're moving to citizens' comments. I have one comment. Jane Tappy. Miss Tappy, you can come up. Please remember you have 3 minutes. We can't make any what's the word? This is not an answering question, but I am working on this issue with Mr. Bernstein and asked him to come down here, and he hasn't made it down here yet. So anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so that's exactly why I'm here. Why I am here. Well, first, y'all know the story in the Bible about the old lady that kept coming and coming and coming and coming until she got what she needed, answers. Here I am. We are 1 month later, not
Todd,
one
can you be sure and start running
step
time?
forward. You told me we were here last to see Mr. Bernstein, which you could have told me 4 months ago to do, but you didn't. That's okay. So we started this last month, not one step further. But the problem in morning sport has decided on his own accord, without permission from anybody that I know of, cleared another alley and is just doing what he wants to do. Cleared that alley, piled debris up against my seller's property in the alley that has been there for years and years, I don't know, 15, 20 years, and then posted a sign that says, "Don't block the alleyway." So it seems like he gets to do what he wants, when he wants, how he wants, and without anybody's permission. Yet we have been seeking permission for 5 months almost and cannot get anything done. And all we want is permission to put up a 70-something-year-old grandma's garage on her own property that happens to be crossing over an alleyway that she didn't know anything about. That now she owns all of the properties around the alley, didn't know it when she bought it, but here we are, 5 months later. And I hate to waste y'all's time. What else do I do? How come I can't get anything done? How come more importance, more answers have been given or put to Mr. Dominic, and we're waiting to hear from Mr. Dominic now for some reason, instead of, this is the decision, per Mr. Bernstein, he suggested that we close part of the alley and move forward. We're a month later, we've done nothing. I am here because why is this, please? I still have some time left. I can keep going. Does anybody have any questions?
We can't ask you any questions. I said it's no question and answer, so
Okay.
thank you for your comments. Thank you for being here.
But what are we doing about it, sir?
I can't ask you. I'll try to address it in a few minutes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry, what does that mean in a few minutes?
Your 3 minutes, you still got a minute.
I
and
still got a
seconds.
minute.
Go ahead.
Mhm. So when should we expect
Can't
it?
answer any questions right now. If you want us to talk, we'll let you talk. If you have nothing else.
Sir, I've been calling your office for a month. I probably called your office in the past week 20 times with no callback. How am I going to get these answers, sir? Let's see, still have 42 seconds. Okay, so I guess.
You have nothing further?
I really don't, but
Okay.
there's no need in this.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Todd, go ahead.
Have no other citizen comments, we have no business, we have special resolutions. Special resolution number 30 of 2018, recognizing Lemonade Day.
We all can stand.
This resolution has been approved already. Previously, we'll just read it today, I think. Is that correct, Mr.?
Yes.
By the name and authority of the Caddo Parish Commission, resolution proclaiming May 5th, 2018 as Lemonade Day in Caddo Parish. Whereas Lemonade Day is a free educational program providing children with the opportunity to learn and apply entrepreneurial thinking and create a foundation for success in the global economy. And whereas Lemonade Day provides an opportunity to share with Caddo Parish's youth the spirit of enterprise and teaching the basic business and entrepreneurial skills necessary to become successful, contributing members of their communities. Whereas the core philosophy of Lemonade Day, spend, save, and share, is implemented by teaching children how to start, own, and operate a business, learn goal setting, develop a business plan, establish a budget, seek investors, provide customer service, and give back to the community. And whereas Lemonade Day offers opportunities for families, businesses, schools, youth organizations, faith-based communities, neighborhoods, institutes of higher learning, and government agencies to unite for a common purpose, to train the next generation of entrepreneurs. And whereas Lemonade Day demonstrates to young people of Caddo Parish that they are important, their future is full of possibilities, and they can meaningfully contribute to a prosperous future for themselves, their families, and their communities. And whereas the Caddo Parish Commission commend organizers, volunteers, and participants of Lemonade Day, a program that advances the skills, character, and entrepreneurship, and extend best wishes for the successful and rewarding experience. Now therefore, the Caddo Commission does hereby proclaim May 5th, 2018 is Lemonade Day in Caddo Parish, and encourage all residents of the parish to invest in our young people as the next generation of Caddo Parish entrepreneurs. Signed, Stephen Jackson, District 3.
Everyone can have a seat at
Thank
this
you.
time.
And we have Miss Jessica Shield here from Cohabitat, and I see Leanne coming in. If you want to come up, she just came in. National Lemonade Day is an opportunity for local communities to teach youth, young adults about the entrepreneur spirit, and so that's what Cohab and Raising Cane's have partnered together to bring this program to Northwest Louisiana. So on this Saturday, I believe you will have a chance. So if you see the lemonade stand standing outside somebody's home, please feel free to stop by, ask the young individuals questions, but support their business. I believe they've been working quite some time on business plans, so it's not anymore just set up a lemonade stand. I don't know if the state repealed the taxes that they had put on it, but I don't know that they're paying taxes on it anymore, so you may be safe with that. But I want to just bring up Jessica and Leanne if they want to have some quick comments to encourage individuals to support this program, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you for inviting us here today. We've been doing this for several years, and this is one of the most rewarding programs that COHAB participates in with our youth entrepreneurs. We really believe that young people are by nature all entrepreneurial, and this is a wonderful program to engage them in using that interest, that natural interest in entrepreneurship, to learn about some really important life lessons like money management and budgeting and customer service, and hopefully, as several of them have, really find a passion for being business owners when they're young and they can develop those skills. So we really want to thank you all for supporting that. Thank you, Commissioner Jackson, for declaring May 5th Lemonade Day. And yes, we would encourage everybody. We have roughly 200 children as of right now, and we still have them signing up. Signed up to participate in stands both on Saturday and as the summer continues, if they didn't have this Saturday available. So for anybody who can hear this, I would definitely encourage you stop, buy a cup of lemonade, ask them about their plan, and encourage that spirit. Absolutely. So thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Thank you so much. Appreciate y'all. At this time, I'll show that motion to accept the resolution number 30 has been made by, we already
Well, it's
adopted.
already passed.
We don't need to
It's
vote?
already
It's in-
Okay, thank you.
Next, we move to adopt the regular session minutes from April 19th.
So moved.
Second.
That's moved by Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts and seconded by Commissioner Matthew Lynn. There is no discussion. Please vote. And that passes 11-0. Next item.
Adopt special minutes from April 16th, alcohol beverage hearing.
So moved.
Second.
A motion been made to adopt those minutes by Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts, seconded by Commissioner Stephen Jackson. Please vote. And that passes 11-0. Next item.
Communications and committee reports.
Okay. You need to talk?
Just briefly,
Commissioner Chavez?
I just wanted to let everybody know that Assistant Randy went over there and took the lady outside to help her out with her issue. I didn't like how we can't talk, and when they're asking us questions, it sounded like we were unresponsive. So I wanted to put on record that we weren't just sitting here not helping her. that Mr. Lucky took her out in the hallway, and that hopefully they come up with a resolution so that can be fixed. That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner.
I was on the board, and I was going to address that as in my district. I've been working with, and Dr. Wilson had already responded. I don't know where she's at. Dr. Wilson had responded to her about a month and gave her our procedures, which was to have every adjacent landowner to sign off. One adjacent landowner was having some issues. That's our procedure. I've told her on several occasions we needed to get the other adjacent landowner. She needed to work with him, and there are issues between those two parties. I think that may be getting resolved at back, and with the latest email from the adjacent landowner, and that's what I was trying to meet with Mr. Bernstein today, but he was busy. I think he's just met with Ms. Tappy. We're at the point to where we can comment, and what I was telling him was that Dr. Wilson did respond to you. I had responded to you and told you that there were some policies and procedures where the adjacent landowner needed to sign off. I think we may have an agreement on that issue. I had most recently had an email from the adjacent landowner. I sent it to Mr. Bernstein and have not heard anything back, and I was trying to meet with him before the meeting today and just could not have time to do that. So I know you just talked to him. So the plan is for us to get together, you and him, and see if we can't get something worked out, because we'll have to pass an ordinance to get that taken care of if the adjacent landowner and you can come to agreement. I think y'all may be able to. So anyway, that's where we're at, and unfortunately, we cannot make comments during. It's not a question and answer situation. We can only do it during communiques and committee reports. So I don't want you to think I was not being responsive. We just can't do it. It's our rules, okay? So we'll move on. Let's see, Commissioner Middleton.
Yeah, mine's real short. Mr. Sweeney, if you'd give my appreciation to Stephen taking care of a problem we had with Pizza Rev. It did get resolved. I wish it would never have to get to the point that it did, but it's resolved now, and the owner is good, and stop by there and have a good pizza. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, no, let's see, Commissioner Matthew Lynn.
It's great that we can talk at the beginning also. Mr. Sweeney, I'm working on an issue with Alan Clark and the fire department in reference to a new business that's trying to form in North Market. They're having a lot of obstacles that were unforeseen, and we need to make this transition to them being taxpayers a little bit smoother. If you would, please touch base with Mr. Clark to get these things resolved as soon as possible. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner Lynn. And we'll move on to our next item.
Do we have any response from administration?
No, sir, I don't have any.
We have nothing from you today?
No, sir.
Thank you, and we'll move on.
President's report?
I have nothing, Your Honor.
Okay. Next, we move to public hearing on zoning ordinances. Ordinance number 5766 of 2018 in regards to zoning case P718, amending the zoning of property located on both sides of East Preston Street, approximately 700 feet east of Captain Tree Drive, Caddo, Parish, Louisiana, from NA Natural Areas District to RE Residential Estate District.
Declare the public hearing open on ordinance number 5766. Does anybody wish to speak in favor of ordinance number 5766? Is there anybody wish to speak against ordinance number 5766? At this time, I declare the public hearing on ordinance number 5766 closed. We'll move to our next item, Mr. Clerk.
That closes zoning ordinance cases. We move to public hearing on ordinances. Ordinance number 5767, amended the budget of estimated revenues and expenditures for the Economic Development Fund in the amount of $31,506 to provide appropriation for the Safe Summer Program.
So moved.
Second.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Public hearing.
Public
No.
hearing.
We're going to amend that anyway. Okay, I declare this public hearing on ordinance number 5767 open at this time. Is anybody who wishes to speak in favor of ordinance number 5767? Is anybody who wishes to speak against ordinance number 5767? I declare the public hearing on ordinance number 5767 closed at this time. We'll move to our next item.
Ordinance number 5768, amending budget estimate revenues and expenditures for the general fund for the Riverboat Fund for the year 2018 to provide an appropriation of $25,000 for the Juvenile Court Facts of Life program.
I declare the public hearing open on ordinance number 5768. Is anybody wish to speak in favor of ordinance number 5768? Is there anybody who wishes to speak against ordinance number 5768? I declare the public hearing on ordinance number 5768 closed at this time. We'll move to our next item.
Ordinance number 5769, to close and abandon a public dedication located in Alena Park subdivision.
Declare a public hearing open on ordinance number 5769. Is there anybody who wishes to speak in favor of ordinance number 5769? Is there anybody who wishes to speak against ordinance number 5769? This time I declare ordinance number 5769 public hearing closed. Moving on to our next item.
Ordinance number 5770 of 2018, to close and abandon a portion of Riviera Street located in section 19, township 18, range 14 west.
I declare a public hearing on ordinance number 5770 open at this time. Is there anybody who wishes to speak in favor of ordinance number 5770? Does anybody wish to speak against ordinance number 5770? This time I declare public hearing on ordinance number 5770 closed. Moving to our next item.
To close and abandon a portion of Edson Boulevard located in section 19, township 18 north, range 14 west.
I declare a public hearing on ordinance number 5771 open at this time. Does anybody wish to speak in favor of ordinance number 5771? Is there anybody who wishes to speak against ordinance number 5771? I declare the public hearing on ordinance number 5771 closed at this time. We'll move to our next item.
Next we move to zoning ordinances for final passage. Ordinance number 5766 of 2018 in regards to zoning case P718. Amending the zoning property located on both sides of East Preston Street, approximately 700 feet east of Captain Street Drive.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion by Commissioner Matthew Lynn to approve ordinance number 5766. I have it second by, I believe it was Commissioner John Atkins, if I'm correct. Have no one on board to speak. Please vote at this time. Matthew, is that your district?
It is.
Okay. And that passes 11-0. Next item.
Next we move ordinances for final passage. Ordinance number 5767 2018, 31,000 to provide an appropriation, 31,506 to provide an appropriation for the safe summer.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Chavez and seconded by Commissioner Gerald Bowman. Commissioner Chavez, do you need to speak on this motion?
This was a great program that we had last summer, and just want to do it again. And
Okay.
there was some funds left over from last year in there.
Right.
So we might as well use them since it was highly successful, and there was a lot of kids that were able to do stuff and keep them off the streets and get them occupied. So I'd like to see it get done again.
Commissioner Lyndon Johnson.
Yes, I'd like to make a substitute motion to increase the amount to 50,000.
I'll second that motion. Okay, so we have a substitute motion to increase the amount to $50,000. That's made by Commissioner Lyndon Johnson, seconded by myself, the chair. LB, do you want to talk on that, or are you okay?
I
No,
think
explain to it a little bit.
the 31,506 would be too small to make sure that we have these summer programs for the entire parish. This is leftover money from last year, which means that we will be in good stewards of the money that we had set aside last year, that we had some money left over. So just they need to make sure we have enough that we don't run out midsummer.
Commissioner Matthew Lynn?
The way that this is divvied up, so to speak, is this event per commission district, or are there events scattered so that no citizen of Caddo Parish would have to travel more than, say, 5 miles to get to one?
Question to who?
To whoever has assembled this, I guess, for
You might,
Parks.
probably
Parks
Andre.
over this?
Andre, can you come up real quick, sir?
Can I comment on that, Commissioner?
Sure, go ahead, Dr. Wilson.
The way Safe Summer's been working, each one of you commissioners would recommend a program, put forth a program, and we would try to facilitate making that work. So each commissioner was inputting on this, and that's how we've been working the process thus far.
Is there paperwork to fill out in order to submit this?
No, sir, you actually, what you did, you've been giving us what the requirements are, and we.
What are the requirements? We give you what the requirements are, or you give us?
No, you tell me you got a program you want to support in your area,
Okay,
and as long as it meets the public needs and things like that, we go along with the program.
okay. Is there money left over from what is already guaranteed?
Yes, sir, $25,000.
And
31.
31,506.
And where do you have placements already?
The programs we've done throughout the parish, we've worked with nonprofit or different city mayors, communities to put the programs on. What the commissioner does is basically if someone that they know say that we would like to look into doing a program with these individuals, we will go and see what we can do to assist them, depending on the money. Sometimes it's just our services that we are able to provide from. Like, this weekend, we're going to provide our stage for a program that's going on, the Gusher Day program at our park. Whatever we can do to provide positive recreational opportunities for the citizens of Caddo Parish, we do.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's fantastic. I just want to make sure that it's something that's convenient and accessible to all the citizens.
Yes, sir. Everything is always open to the public.
Where are the locations currently?
Sir.
Do you have any locations currently?
The locations we have done, for the most part, have been usually at Spars Park, the events that we had last year. We're also planning we've also worked with the school board.
What are the physical locations?
Physical locations last year. Last year, Bilberry Park.
Which one?
Bilberry Park.
Bilberry, okay.
A.B. Palmer Park.
Bill
Cockrell Park. Airport Park.
Southern Hills.
Southern Hills Park. Trying to think of where else. Sunset Acres. We did a program in Keysville. At the fairgrounds. We're also going to do a Makers Fair this year with at the fairgrounds to do a Makers Fair for the community. Right. Queensboro. So, I mean, it's all over, Commission.
Okay, awesome. That was what I was wanting to know. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was next on the board. I just wanted to say I've spoken to Commissioner Johnson on this, and I agree. I think it needs to be a little bit more. It gives us the ability to free up funds in our Park and Recreation Department to help out, especially some of the inner city districts that don't have a whole lot of parks. But mainly, as we all know, the parks are kind of in the rural area. Not all of them, but a large majority of them are. So I'll be supporting this motion. Commissioner Chavez, did you?
No, I didn't speak.
You spoke on your motion, not on the substance. Okay.
I was going to address Commissioner Lynn's as well as I'm definitely in agreement with raising it. But Commissioner Lynn, we had a great turnout last year at the Southern Hills Park, and we didn't say you have to be from Southern Hills to come. It was everybody's welcome, and we collaborated with the Red River Waterway Commission to fund a 100 Life Vest giveaway to the first 100 children that came out. And we had a grant from another organization where we were able to teach 100 kids. Doesn't matter where they're from. They showed up. They were all given a voucher to come back and actually learn how to swim. And all 100 vouchers were redeemed. So we taught 100 kids how to swim.
Can you say it again?
We got 100 kids learning how to swim last summer. We gave out 100 life vests. We had Andre was out there with some guys. We were cooking hamburgers and hot dogs for the kids. We had music for the children, big blow-up slides. It was a great event. Everybody could come. It wasn't, hey, just Southern Hills. It was whoever comes first gets the life vest and gets to learn how to swim. And it was a great success.
And some are from other areas.
From all over.
Yeah, my area.
So they just happened to come to the best neighborhood, and I understand why, but we really enjoyed it. So I'm definitely in agreement with raising that and look forward to the ideas that the other commissioners around the horseshoe have for the kids for this summer. That's all, Chair.
Okay, Commissioner Stephen Jackson.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Well, let me first start by saying I'm glad that the program is now being receptive, and that because when this initiative was first brought up, there was some stiff opposition to it, and so whatever that opposition was, I'm glad to see that it is now being embraced as something that we need. And so thank you all for now seeing this need. I do have some quick questions for Henri or Dr. Wilson or whomever. Are the programs free to the public?
Yes, sir.
What the money that we use here?
Yes, sir. Every program has been free to the public. We've also, one of the things we did not mention, we extended the sheriff's summer programs that they have at the different gyms, at the high school gyms, opening gyms during the course of the day. The sheriff only does it through June. We take it on through July. Every program.
And so the parish use its funding to support these programs?
Yes, sir.
Is there an income requirement?
No, sir. There is no requirement for anyone. Like Commissioner Chavez says, whoever comes, come. What we do, we advertise that we're going, and at every park, at every event, we're working with somebody inside of the community that most of the time are already doing things in the community. Just like Mr. Chavez said, they gave away the swim lessons, but over at Queensboro, it was the Queensboro Association that does a back home homecoming program every year themselves. We help them to promote it and make it better than it would have been.
Just like City Grove, East versus West.
City Grove, East West, same thing.
And
We
the
promoted and made it better than it was 2 or 3 years ago, just assisting citizens that are already doing things in the community. In Vivian, we're also working with the mayor there and some of the pastors to provide programs where they're going to be giving clothes away. We're going to go and assist and make it better. But basically what we're doing, we're working with everyone in the community to try to provide better recreational opportunities. And everything is free.
So does this constitute a public purpose, or the event is free and open to the public? That's a question. That's a question.
I do have just the question.
Yeah, that's a question under my time.
Any parks sponsored event that's sponsored by one of our departments is a purpose of the parish. That is a public purpose of the parish if the event is sponsored by our parks department.
What's the significance of that?
Well, see, the Parks Department operates off a tax that is
Parish-wide.
Parish-wide, includes the city. So it doesn't have to be broken down into places where it can be spent. It's also not something that requires a contractual agreement with an outside agency, which is then subject to funneling the money and subject to constitutional requirements for that outside agency. So that's the significance.
So Mr. Henri, this car show that we sponsor.
Yes, sir.
Does that not go under, y'all don't reimburse for expenses with that?
We do, and what we try to do is get with the individuals ahead of time and see if we can provide it at a cheaper cost than they can provide it.
But there are cases where you have to
But there are
reimburse
cases where we
expenses.
do reimburse individuals.
Okay, but there's no income limits, it's free and open to
Nothing,
the public?
everything is free and open. Whenever it's, now that the car show, the individual was paying for some things, but that's what we work with them to bring that cost down and also say, okay, we can only do so much, not the whole event.
Okay, appreciate it. I support the program. I think this was in response to some crime issues that we had
Yes, sir.
a couple of years ago. Again, I'm glad to see that members of the body who was originally had some skepticism about it now seem to be warming up to it. So glad to see it's going well. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Donna, are you through, or did you get back on the board, or do you need?
No, I was just going to mention that I think these programs, if I'm not mistaken, are programs, they are done in conjunction with some other agencies, but they are actually taken over and sponsored by our Parks Department, not through contracts with the third-party agencies. So that what happens is if Parks takes it over and somebody else has an invoice that needs to be paid, or those invoices are sent through our Parks Department and routed through the parish the way any normal invoice would be sent through the parish, as opposed to something that we're doing through a cooperative endeavor agreement that provides for reporting. If in fact an event is not recreational in nature and does not fall under the purview of the program, then it needs to be routed through a different program. So as you all are sponsoring events, please keep that in mind.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Atkins?
Thank you, Mr. President. I was one of the members that was concerned about this program last year. I'm still concerned about it, cautiously optimistic, shall we say. I'm willing to support it for several reasons. One, I think it's a modest amount to support our youth. Two, I'm concerned about crime in our neighborhoods and know we need to invest. And three, it's one of the many alternatives we're trying to employ to offset at least the temporary delay in additional investments in the juvenile detention center. So if we can spend money in these ways to reduce the need to make large capital investments, I'm generally supportive of that approach. So I just wanted to convey those thoughts to my colleagues. Thank you.
I think that was well said, and I was one too that was skeptical about the program, but after having long talks with Henri and sitting down with him and also Commissioner Johnson, I feel that there's a need. The second thing I just wanted to reiterate, everything that I know of, it's very important to realize that you go to our parks, there is no fee. The only fee that I know that we charge is the overnight stay at Earl Williamson, unless I guess you were going to, if you're going to a bass tournament at the Earl Williamson Caddo Lake, and there may be some entry fee to participate in the bass tournament or something like that, but maybe some type of sponsorship or use of our park. So it's important to note that whether you're going swimming or visiting our parks or being involved in our parks, the one at Walter B. Jacobs is, I say it's the hidden gem. If anybody ever likes to hike or just to get out into the nature, they need to go to Walter B. Jacobs. It doesn't cost anything. You also got the Eddie D. Jones Park, beautiful park in Keithville, that is another hidden gem for anybody who likes to hike or ride bikes, or I think even horse riding, mountain bikes. It's just a wonderful place to go, and it didn't cost anything. You're always spending money to go to a sporting event or do anything, but there are things in our area to do. So next is Commissioner Linden. Have you already spoken? Let's see. I'll go to Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts.
Thank you, sir. I just wanted to reiterate that I think we are very grateful about putting this back on the agenda to get this summer program back rolling. It proved very successful over 2017, 2016 to actually have these funds to be able to do something in our respective districts, which benefited the citizens of Caddo Parish throughout. Anything that we can do to curb violence, we can't prevent it, but we can do something and have something in place like this. I was elated to hear you say, Commissioner Atkins, that you would support this. I was hoping for a little bit more in appropriations. However, I'll be conservative today and accept that because you all are agreeing on this number for our children and for our youth in Caddo Parish, and actually for everyone. This is an event for everyone, and it has been very successful. And they're excited about seeing it come back around with the Parish of Caddo in support of making sure that we're doing our part in the community to make sure that we're doing, as we are stated, to improve the quality of life of the citizens of Caddo Parish. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And Commissioner Lyndon Johnson?
Yes, just to, I guess, to make Commissioner Atkins feel a little better. There was two organizations that wanted to do something within District 2. But when myself and Henri got together and did the due diligence of it, basically canceled out on both of them because once we started saying, well, we could do this, we could do that, and this didn't add up right. So we walked away from it. So, I mean, it's not like it's going to happen just because somebody said they want to do it. There is due diligence that's going to be done. And Henri is very much on top of it, especially when you have these nonprofits with these ideas of having different events at a park and wanting to bring a lot of kids out there. And so they basically go for what they know. And that's what I tell a lot of people a lot of times, especially when we're dealing with public dollars. Sometimes you have to get and tell us what you're trying to do, give us a dollar amount of what you're trying to spend. And then at the same time, we might have the equipment that you might be going out to rent. we might already own it. And so at that point in time, it's not a cost. It's just utilizing our equipment and some of our resources. And so he's been doing an excellent job. That's why you got the $31,506 that's going to be rolled over. It's because of him doing a good job of managing the money and making sure that we're not spending it overzealously. Thank you, Mr.
Commissioner Lynn?
I gave y'all a handout. You know, we look at all the stuff that Caddo Parish does, and especially streets, roads, drains, bridges, everything. And then you look at the tax money, that almost 70% of our tax money comes from inside the city limits of Shreveport that is spent outside the city. And so it's really nice to have this money come in for our youth to give them an alternative to getting in trouble, so that they have something positive to do within the community over the summer months. And I'm very appreciative to Commissioner Jackson for putting this on the table originally, and look at this as a very positive give back to the citizens of the city of Shreveport, even though a lot of it is done outside the city, for the 70% of the tax base coming that supplies the parish with money from the city. Thank you.
Gotta go? Okay, thanks. Okay, Donna, do you need to talk?
I just also wanted to point out that any invoices that are submitted also go through the normal administrative review process to determine whether or not those can be made, be paid as a further check on that.
Okay, thank you. All right, so Commissioner Jackson?
Yeah. Henri, quick, one last question. I hate to have you up and down. No, I think this should be it. I didn't say that.
I do.
My other concern is, do we require a time limit before? Because I know you and we discussed us getting our maximum exposure on these
Yes, sir.
projects.
No, we have not, but that's what we're putting in the process now to try to have it. I know sometimes individuals come to the commissioners and ask them to assist, and it's right at the
week before.
And it's but we've always made it work, and we go in and we work with the individual. But that's one of the things we do, and we're trying our best to do better this year, is to maximize our potential of providing the citizens, to letting them know that the parks and recreation department with the parish is doing.
Especially as we go back out for that millage.
Yes, sir.
And this is not to game them some kind of way, but to make sure that
just let everybody know
that
just somebody else is providing recreation in the city other than the spa.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that's in the process.
Or assisting them.
Good, great to hear. I'm glad to hear that's part of the process.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Gerald Bowman?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I just want to, since we have you down here already, thank you, Mr. Henri. You really do a lot of great work, and sometimes you're like a unsung hero, and you help a lot, especially in the Bilberry and the Queensboro situation, event, rather, and we've had a backpack giveaway, and it would not have been as successful without your directorship and leadership and administration assisting as well. So I just want to thank you again publicly.
Thank you.
That's it, Mr. President.
Okay. So we'll need to vote first on the amendment. The amendment is to Commissioner Middleton, I'm sorry.
Call for the question, but never mind. Go ahead where you are right now. We're good.
Okay. So we're back on the ordinance. The substitute motion made by Commissioner Lyndon Johnson, seconded by the chair, to increase the amount from $31,506 to $50,000. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so we'll need to vote on the substitute motion, and then we'll come back and vote on the motion amended, okay? So please vote on the substitute motion at this time.
Tom, will you read the substitute motion? Substitute motion is to increase from $31,506 to $50,000 for the Safe Summer programs. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes. I thought you said add 50, not raise it to 50.
And I said raise it to be, the total's gonna be $50,000, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
We need to add, come back.
Did you want to add 50?
No, I thought she said add 50, not raise it to 50.
His motion was to set it at 50. Okay.
On prevailing side.
That passes 10-1. Now, can we please vote on the original motion as amended?
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a substitute motion to englobo and adopt ordinance 5768, ordinance 5769, ordinance 5770, and ordinance 5771.
Okay, so I have a
Second.
motion by Commissioner Jackson and seconded by Commissioner Matthew Lynn to englobo, so to be to approve ordinance number 5767 as amended, ordinance number 5768 concerning the juvenile court, 5769 concerning the abandonment of the road. Was there another one too?
5770.
5770
And
concerning
5771.
the abandonment of a portion of the road, and 5771 to close and abandon a portion of Edson Boulevard.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And the second is
Have a motion by Commissioner Jackson and seconded by Commissioner Lynn. Do I have any discussion or questions on
I'd like to
those?
sever 5767. I'm all right with the rest of 5767. I'd like to sever that one from that.
Okay.
Vote against the englobo.
Yeah, you have to make a motion to that, so. I
That's a
guess-
motion.
Second.
Okay, so we have a substitute motion by Commissioner Middleton to sever 5767, seconded by Commissioner Atkins to vote on that by itself. Let us vote on that first, okay?
Point of order. I don't think that I made a substitute motion. You can't make a substitute to a substitute motion, can we? Are we doing that now?
You can make one amendment to the amendment.
This is not an amendment.
Okay, but, no, basically, it's my understanding, instead of voting on them all separately, your substitute.
Right, that's
is
not
to
an
take-
amendment.
Take them all.
Right.
So you get one more motion to modify the main motion. I put it like that.
His motion is correct then.
Right.
Because Commissioner Jackson made a motion, that's just a substitute motion.
That's fine. You all
No.
can, if he gets a second, you can vote on that one, and then you vote on the other.
I thought the main motion is to approve as adopted. I mean, approve as amended. That was the main motion. I made the substitute to the main motion.
Okay, you're right.
No, you made a substitute to.
The main
Hang on, guys.
To approve as amendment.
Hang on,
and
please.
then
Please,
you
let's
take
stop.
all-
Hang on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
To approve as amended, and to take all of those together.
No, no, ma'am. Somebody made a motion to approve as amended, and then I made a substitute to englobo them.
To englobo it
And
as
advance.
amended or not?
Yes, as amended, because we did the amendment, and so
Yes,
So that was yours. Now there's one more motion.
that can be
to-
made.
That can be made, that can,
I thought you made the original motion.
I made the substitute motion to raise it to 50.
Which is
We voted on that.
Right, and now I'm
So
making
now
a
we're supposed to be
substitute.
voting on the change
Right.
as amended.
are we on number 3 or number 4?
I don't know, but I can tell you this, that we should have just voted one by one. Would have been a lot easier.
You've been done.
So what we're going to do is we'll vote on Commissioner Middleton's motion to sever this. At this time, please vote if you wish to sever 5767 and vote on it by itself.
And
Please vote.
Vote no to just take them all at once?
Yes, you're correct.
Take 'em all at-
Okay, that passes, that fails 5-6. So now we need to come back to Commissioner Stephen Jackson's motion to englobo and adopt, and let me get this straight. So to be to adopt ordinance number 5767 as amended to $50,000, and then to also englobo 5768, 5769, 5770, and 71, pretty much dealing with the closing of abandoning of streets. Okay, please vote. Okay, so that passes 10-1. Okay.
Permission to speak, sir?
I'll grant you, go ahead.
Thank you. At times, it seems like, first of all, I compliment Commissioner Jackson on his parliamentary skills. You're a good parliamentarian. But at times, I think it's important to look at the intent of the body. And I think when we can allow everybody to express their opinion, we should allow them to express their opinion on specific issues and not force people to bundle up and vote on whole. So I would just encourage that when a commissioner wants to vote on an issue, that we try to work with them to allow them to vote on an issue.
I'd second that.
Just a thought. Thank you, sir.
And I agree, because obviously what was happening, Commissioner Middleton wanted to vote
of
no
order, Mr. Chair.
on that one issue,
Point of order.
and then wanted to vote yes on the others. So
Point of
go ahead,
order.
I'm sorry.
The motion was made, I made an effective motion, it carried. And so, that's just the parliamentary procedures. It's not out of order, it's parliamentary procedures. I'll continue to make things global and advances. It's just to move our means along. It's not to stifle anybody's opinion, so the motion carried.
Okay. All right, so moving on to our next item.
Next, we move to ordinances for introduction by title, ordinance number 5772. Set the general millage, purpose millages, and special purpose millages, and instructs tax assessor to include said millage of tax roll of Parish of Caddo for the year 2018. Ordinance number 5773, setting the parish millage for the purpose of paying principal and interest due in 2017 on outstanding parish bonds, and to instruct the assessor to include said millage on the tax rolls of Parish of Caddo for the year 2018. Ordinance number 5774, to adopt the values fixed and to be fixed by the Louisiana Tax Commission on all assessment and railways and other public service corporations, and instruct the assessor to extend such assessments and values on the tax rolls of Parish of Caddo for the year 2018. Ordinance 5775, setting the assessment of property classified as timberlands, and instruct the assessor to include said assessment on tax rolls for the Parish of Caddo for the year 2018. Ordinance number 5776, amending the budget of its 2017 budget estimate of revenues and expenditures for the detention facilities fund to increase the appropriation for prisoner medical care by $550,000. Ordinance number 5777 of 2018, an increase to authorize the purchase of property located at 1356 Longhorn Street, and to use a portion of Caddo Community Action Agency property. Next, we move to work session and ratify the minutes.
So move for adoption.
Have a motion by Commissioner Stephen Jackson to adopt the work session minutes of April 30th, second by Commissioner Lyndon Johnson. Please vote. And that passes 10-0. Next item.
Next, we move to resolutions. Resolution number 32, and authorizing the Caddo Parish Fire District number 5 to issue, sell, and deliver in the name of District Fire District Revenue Fund refunding bonds.
Move to approve.
Have a motion by Commissioner John Atkins, seconded by Commissioner Chavez. Please vote. That passes 10-0. Next item.
Resolution 34, 2018, urging and requesting Governor Bell, John Bell Edwards, and LED to amend Caddo Parish's opportunity zones to include track 217.
So move.
Second.
Move for
Motion
adoption.
been made by Commissioner Stephen Jackson, seconded by Commissioner Atkins. Please vote.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkins, for your
My
service.
pleasure, sir.
That passes 10-0. Next item.
Resolution 35, resolution proclaiming and supporting May 6th to 12th as National Nurses Week.
So move.
Motion been made by Commissioner Middleton, seconded by Commissioner Matthew Lynn. Please vote.
Well, I'm on board.
Commissioner Lyndon Johnson.
Yeah, I want to in global resolution number 35 and 36 for adoption.
Second.
Motion been made by Commissioner Lyndon Johnson to global order resolution number 35 and 36, seconded by Commissioner Stephen Jackson. Please vote. And when is his coming up under old business?
Next.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Authorize resolution number 37,
Excuse me, I'd like to-
2018, a resolution requesting and encouraging South Highland, I'm sorry.
Pardon me.
Oh, we had that
Did we vote?
resolution that
Hang on.
we added.
Hang
The
on.
one we added.
Hang on one second. So, hang on one second.
Okay, go ahead.
On
Excuse
those items that did, the last vote was 10-0.
Now we move to
Hang
resolution
on.
number
Do
37.
you have something you need to?
We can go ahead and do this first, and I'll do it
I think
afterwards.
we're fixing to do it in just a second. Okay, go ahead, Todd.
Resolution number 37, 2018, resolution requesting and encouraging South Highlands Elementary Magnet School Principal Mary Harris to allow May 4th, 2018 to be Ice Cream Day.
So move for adoption.
That motion's been made by Commissioner Stephen Jackson, seconded by Commissioner Chavez. Do you want to read that resolution, or?
Mr. Benet has some comments he would like to make.
Mr. Benet, we'll turn it over to you, sir.
I mean, I guess I would ask, I guess this is traditionally a Commissioner Atkins question, but, what's your rationale for this particular piece of legislation?
How much is it gonna cost?
How much is it going to cost, and why do you see the importance of it?
Yeah, why don't you just tell us a little bit about you, because I know that you're in the 3rd grade, you go to South Highlands, you're 9 years old, and I think you're having a government day or something like it. Can you just tell us a little bit about what's going on at your school and what you're here for today?
Well, we are having a standardized state-wide testing called the LEAP test, and we are taking, learning, we have learned a lot this year, and our teachers are depending on us, because if we don't do good, they could get a bad paycheck, or I forgot something else. I forgot the other thing. And I don't really know what to say.
Well, do you want to read the resolution, or do you want us to read it for you?
Could you read it?
Sure, give it to me. Is it resolution number 37? Yeah. Sure. Okay, so I'm going to read it for you. This is Resolution 37, 2018. It says, by the Caddo Parish Commission, a resolution requesting and encouraging South Highlands Elementary Magnet Principal Mary Harris to allow May 4th, 2018 to be Ice Cream Day and to otherwise provide with respect thereto. Whereas April is recognized by the National Association of Counties as National County and Parish Month, and whereas Mr. Will Vinay and his 3rd grade class April homework assignment was on state and local government, and whereas the 3rd grade students at South Highlands Elementary Magnet School have been participating in their statewide standardized testing for the week of April 30th through May 4th, and whereas the 3rd grade students at South Highlands Elementary Magnet School will have worked diligently, giving their best efforts for their teachers, and whereas the 3rd graders have prepared and worked very hard and ready to celebrate the end of the year, it is a fact that ice cream is a good reward for hard work. Now, therefore, the Caddo Parish Commission requests and encourages Principal Mary Harris to allow May 4th, 2018 Ice Cream Day for the 3rd graders at South Highlands Elementary Magnet School in celebration of the end of standardized testing for 3rd graders. Therefore, it be resolved that the Caddo Parish Commission would like to wish all Caddo Parish Public Schools students, faculty, and staff good luck on this year's standardized testing.
All right.
Hip, hip, hooray.
Mr. Chairman, he actually, Will actually drafted this with his parents. They actually drafted this, and we sent it over to Todd, and Todd prepared it. So This is his work that you're reading. So
You're the
this is
best.
his teacher's work, or they work together on this.
Okay. I have a couple of commissioners that want to talk. Commissioner Lyndon Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You crying?
No.
He doesn't have tears.
Ice cream.
No.
He got hungry.
Will, I really appreciate that you did go through this formality to get Ice Cream Day at South Highlands. When I first looked at it, I was kind of puzzled because I got here a little late. So one thing that I would like to do for us is that even though we missed the mark of having some students here in April, that we will at least do it in the 2nd meeting in May to try to get some students here so that we can do Student Government Day here, because it really helps out for those youth, for them to sit up here and see how we conduct business, and then for them to look at the different departments that we do have in the parish, and they kind of learn from that. And then some of them might even want to become, a parish or a city employee down the road. So I think we missed the mark in April, but I think we still need to do it in May. Second of all, when I first looked at it, I was like, well, why only at South Highland and why not across Caddo Parish? Because all the kids in 3rd grade took the LEAP test. But I think, Will, you had another little hidden agenda into this, so I'm pretty good with this. But I would urge that all of the schools do it, because all those kids took the LEAP test in the 3rd grade, and they all worked hard to try to make the best score that they possibly can. And if we could also send one to the superintendent as well to urge that it's done parish-wide, I would really appreciate that, instead of just do one for South Highland.
Amendment for Mr.
That's a friendly amendment.
You accept
that,
the friendly amendment?
That we do it for South Highland,
Yes.
but then we send one to the superintendent for all the schools in Caddo Parish for 3rd graders.
Okay,
So you accept your-
he accepts that amendment. Okay, Commissioner Lewis Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to commend Commissioner Bonet on the resolution. And I want to ask, I see that it's for the 3rd grade class. I want to ask, is there any way, or could you make an exception for a couple of commissioners to come and get some ice cream also?
Could he come? Got to think about it.
It's not going to cost to say yes.
Yes.
All right,
You need
good.
his vote to pass.
You got my support.
I like
Thank you,
when
Mr.
think
President.
through all the issues before he answers. That's good, John.
Kind of like you, Commissioner Atkins. Commissioner Jackson, do you have anything else?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if you ran this by the principal yet. Is she okay with this?
Well, I think my mom has showed her.
Okay.
They're shaking their heads, so yes,
Okay, so she's
we're
approved.
in favor with that. Good
Okay.
job,
I
good
just
job.
wanted, before I pledge my vote to her, but keep up the good work.
And Commissioner Middleton?
Yeah, hey, Will, thank you for bringing this to us today, and let's acknowledge Julian and Christian's also out there, little brother, or brothers and siblings. Of course, Dad, Robert, and Angela. Mom, right down here, she looks like she's very proud, and I think y'all got some good kids to be proud of, and congratulations on that.
Well, my final thoughts are, as the president was saying, man, you're a great young man. Thanks for coming here today, leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thanks for sitting in here with Commissioner Jackson as a commissioner for the day. That's what we're going to call you. Man, I think you almost did a little bit better job than Commissioner Jackson. We wouldn't mind you coming back every now and then, a little bit more, taking his spot sometimes.
Yeah,
but
feel free to come back in.
we do appreciate your hard work, and thank you so much. We like that resolution. It's a good job. So at this point, we need to vote on this resolution. Please vote. And that passes unanimously, please, 9-0. And moving on to our next item.
We move to old business, resolution number 31 of 2018, ordering calling a special election to be held in Sales District number 1 of Caddo Parish, Louisiana, to authorize rededication of sales and use tax therein.
Okay, that dies for any motion?
It has to be removed.
That's it, would have to be moved from the.
Okay, I have no motion.
No motion. so-
Moving to the next item.
Excuse me. I'm on the board.
You didn't make a motion?
I'm on the board. I've been. If the chair would recognize me, I'd appreciate it.
I will go ahead and recognize you because I know you were wanting to make a motion.
Thank
So
you.
I'm going to let you make your motion. Go
Well,
ahead.
I would
You
like
better
to-
wake up over there.
Yeah, I'm awake.
I was
would like
waiting
to
for
pull
you.
from the table the resolution ordering the calling of a special election for which the hard copy is presented to every commissioner. If I may have a second, I'd like to speak on it.
Second.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I have a motion by Commissioner Matthew Lynn, seconded by Stephen Jackson to remove this matter from the table. So right now,
Pull it from the table, yes.
to pull it or remove it from the table, it's removed is what we're saying here. First, it has to get removed, and then we'll vote on it. So your motion is to remove it from the table. So go ahead.
And thank you very much.
And I will let you speak.
I presented all of y'all a tax analysis of Caddo Parish, and you can see that 70% of the income that Caddo Parish Commission makes is off of property taxes within the city limits of Shreveport. Now, taking that into consideration, we spend money inside the city, taken from inside the city limits to serve all of the parish and outside the city limits of the parish, which is fine. The tax millage that I would like for us to bring to the village, to the voters, is the one concerning solid waste pickup. Currently, our solid waste account has $34 million in it, and it keeps gaining speed every year, so it's making a profit. However, the way that this money is tied up, it can only be used on solid waste. And so we've got all this money that can only be used on solid waste, and it's making money, plus we just put in 2 new solid waste facilities this past year. And so the fund is saturated with money, and as a show of goodwill to the citizens of Caddo Parish with these upcoming millages, I think that they would both be more likely to pass than one of them by themselves, than the park by itself. I think that they would both pass easier than the park millage by itself. And I say that because we're going to the voters and we're saying, look, oops, yeah, that my pockets are empty. But at the same time that our pockets are empty on parks and millages, we're not taking money out of our other pocket, which is flush with cash, to use it outside the city limits within Caddo Parish functioning. And so if we could free this money up, if we can ask the citizens to free up this $34 million so that we can use it outside the city limits of Shreveport, because it's a tax gathered from outside the city of Shreveport, and so it can only be used outside the city of Shreveport. Free up this money so that we can use more money that is positioned and earned from inside the city limits on other things. And I think it would just show wise business sense and frugal spending on the parish's side to utilize the tax money that we're already collecting from the citizens to serve the citizens, than to have this one encumbered fund hoarding money that we can't use anywhere else. And I think the citizens of Shreveport and Caddo Parish are smart enough to realize that we've been good with their money. We've lowered millages every single year. Every year that I've been on the commission for the last 10 years, the parish taxes have gone down, and we have a AAA bond rating with that. But we still have this one fund that's bound that we can only use on solid waste. And this is just asking the citizens to let us spend their money wisely, rather than having us locked up with all this money in one spot. And so I'm asking that we say yes to this and send it to the voters, and let the voters, because the voters are wise. I mean, I look at the way people vote, and for the most part, they're pretty good with this. And I think that if it is explained to the people that vote, they're going to understand that we can do more good for them with less if they untie our hands on this one particular fund. Thank you, that's all.
Commissioner Linda Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As with any government entity, you have dedicated funds. And so we have multiple dedicated funds. This particular fund is paid by the citizens that are outside the city limits of Shreveport. And so this is a service that we provide to them, solid waste. Are roads in this as well, or no?
No. Okay,
so this is basically the solid waste picking up at the compactors, the service we do for our citizens in Caddo Parish. To then say that the people in the parish and outside of the city limits have basically paid into this, to then to turn around and say, well, we're gonna make it a parish-wide issue, tax fund relief to now service inside the city limits, will really upset a lot of citizens outside the city limits of Shreveport. Yes, they would, because I'll be one of them, because I'm paying taxes outside the city of Shreveport limits. And so you put this back into the city limits, then that would make me upset.
We can't do that.
That's what you're trying to do.
No.
All right, let me talk. So, the other piece you said about 70% of the taxes, the property taxes, are inside the city limits, but those funds are used by different funds. The funds that you're trying to pull from, the city taxes do not go into that. It's only the ones that are outside the city that goes into that. So that's a cloudy picture that you're putting out there when you started your debate. So we want to make sure that we're still dealing with apples to apples and not apples to oranges. I think that when we tabled this, it was for the good reason, and we wanted to make sure that we didn't confuse taxpayers come the election time dealing with our parks and recreation. Our parks and recreations is a particular fund, just like we have other ones, that when it comes up for renewal, we gonna ask the citizens to support it. Now, you know, a lot of times I sit up here and I hear when things don't go a commissioner way, then first thing they say, well, we just gonna make sure that taxpayers don't support it. I mean, how can you sit here as a commissioner and even make a statement like that, in my opinion? Because if you don't bring in revenue, how are you gonna support these funds? And one way to bring in revenue is with property taxes. I mean, there's no other way, unless you're gonna charge people to use the park, you're gonna charge people to drive by the park. We don't have any toll roads in Caddo Parish. We don't have anything, so you're gonna charge people to basically breathe the air by the park. That's the only way you're gonna be bringing in revenue. So if you don't do that, you have to use taxes. I just think that this is at the wrong time to try to do, the timing is all wrong. There's other funds that basically you could say, well, we can pull from this fund to do over there. You know, we could, but at the same time, we're not there yet. I mean, you never know what's gonna happen, that we might need this fund for whatever reason. You know, even the compactors. I mean, if you go by all of them, they're all in good shape. The guys that work there work them to the best of their ability. And, you know, one thing that I wanted to try to do last year, and I think we did a little bit of it, is to make sure that we can have more of the hazardous waste recycle places, so that they can come in and people who have tires, instead of having 150 tires along the roadside, someone that has like 4 tires, they can bring it in to the compactor site without having to do dumping it on the side of the road, where a lot of them are doing. If you go up and down a lot of our parish roads, you see these tires. So I think things we need to do to enhance solid waste, we're not doing, and that's what we need to do instead of trying to take the money away from them. Thank you.
Okay, I'm on the board. I agree with Commissioner Linda Johnson. This is a solid waste tax that's paid by the citizens outside the parish. We don't need to be playing a shell game to take money from the citizens in Caddo Parish outside the city who are paying this tax to be used inside the city of Shreveport. If we need to do anything, maybe we need to reduce that millage and turn it back to the citizens. I'm talking, Mr. Lynn. Also, this was just recently voted on. It was voted no. I stand by this position that when we put this on here, we're going to cause some confusion and upset people in the rural areas, and it's going to cause them to vote no on both issues. I have had a long conversation with our administration. They say the timing is not good for this issue. So what I am urging you is to vote no. Let's keep this on the table. The motion was made by Commissioner Matthew Lynn to remove it from the table. Let's just not remove it. Let's vote no, and it'll be voted down. Commissioner Chavez?
I move to send a long-range plan, and if I can get a second.
That dies for a lack of a second. Commissioner Lewis Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate Commissioner Lynn's passion and perspective as relates to it. I can understand that. But in taking a closer look at it, I'm not sure if you're accurate as it relates to the amount that's in that account. I see that Ms. Bryan is not here, but Haley, I'd like to ask her, can you take a look or give us any insight as it relates to the actual amount that's in that account?
Yes, sir. The estimated amount for solid waste is about $19 million right now.
Okay.
34 million, that's a big difference.
So it's not exact. It's not what exactly wasn't completely accurate in that respect. So I understand the thought in that as it relates to it, but I think the concerns that have been voiced kind of speak for themselves in that respect. Thank you very much.
Dr. Wilson?
Yeah, I was going to clear up the accuracy of what was said. Not quite 36 million, 19 million, and we have put in one site this year.
Yes. And I don't.
One additional site we put in.
In Blanchard?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And as I said on Monday, I'm in support of the idea, but the timing is not strategic for what we're trying to get done. There are 4 other elections will be called next year. Any 4 would do. And it could be by itself, so we can educate that demographics of the parish that will be voting on that only. It will not be a city vote. It will only be a vote outside the city. And you can use those funds only outside the city. That's the dear line of the issue. But I want to make that clear. That's why the administration is not recommending to go forth right now, because the parks is a parish-wide issue, and we should not confuse the two. Because they told us on 29th of April last year, overwhelmingly they voted down. They understood what the issue was. They voted down. So we need to do a better job and more concentrated, focused effort in the future than only address that issue by itself.
And Commissioner Lynn?
I'm comfortable with that. If y'all want to stick it on the agenda next year, that sounds great. And if there's a measly 19 million in that account, then that's fine too. I accept that as that correction. And if there is only one new site added, then my bad on saying there were 2 sites. And I do know that that money can only legally be used outside the city limits. I realize that, even though we currently use money gathered from inside the city limits, outside the city limits. I realize that that's a one-way street that I'm also very comfortable with. Thank you.
Why do you make these statements? I don't, or Dr. Wilson, are we using money that's inside, that's outside? I mean, what's he talking about?
No, sir. Certain things like for the courthouse maintenance and the Cal Correction Center, those are parish-wide tax millage.
Right, but are we?
Right. So it's not.
But you're saying, you just said we use money inside, outside.
Right, to serve all of the parish.
Well, everybody pays for the property tax or ad valorem taxes, everybody for the courthouse and the juvenile justice and the CCC. It's for everybody's benefit.
They all sit beside city limits.
Okay, so Commissioner Chavez, you're back on?
I just want a point of clarification. I heard you say that we're going to table this till next year to add to the agenda, so was that made a motion?
No, there's no motion. The motion that was made by Commissioner Matthew Lynn was to bring it off the table. If you remember, Monday, Commissioner Johnson made a motion to put it on the table, lay it on the table. It's going to stay on the table, it'll stay on the table, it'll stay on the table until it's brought off the table. If that makes sense.
That's not, actually, that's not correct. It will lay on the table, but it will eventually, after a quarter, disappear.
Okay. So that's not absolutely correct. It's going to lay on the table for how long?
In Robert's Rules of Orders, it actually says quarter.
Okay. All right. So at this time, the motion by Commissioner Lynn is to bring it back on the table, and if you're for bringing it back on the table, vote yes. If you want to keep it on the table, vote.
I'll take it off the table.
Okay, his motion is to remove it from the table. If you want to remove it from the table, vote yes. If you want to keep it on the table, vote no. Okay, that fails 0 to 9. So you wasted all that time for us.
It was a good conversation, and I'm glad to know that people are encouraged to put it on the agenda next year.
Okay, we can move to our next item.
New business, confirm appointment, Fire District number 7. Mr. David Houston.
Let's move by the chair, please.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Chavez. We're on new business to confirm appointment Fire District number 7. Please vote. That passes 9-0.
Next, we move to communication and committee reports that might have been missed.
Does anybody have any communication, committee reports? Commissioner Lyndon Johnson?
Yes, Commissioner Gage Watts left me
Yeah, I wanted to tell that same thing.
a bunch of paper here to talk about, but
Can I say something first? Because she wanted me to be sure, because I don't know if you were going to. She said for me to be sure and let everyone know that she went.
go ahead.
Courtesy. Were you going to announce that?
Go ahead, go, finish.
She sent me a thing. She said she wanted to let everybody know that she had a meeting to leave to go to speak to future generations of entrepreneurs about owning her own business, and that she wanted me to let everybody know that. So that's why she had to leave the chamber. So.
Okay, then she did read me some stuff too as well. One, she wanted to thank Henri for always being efficient and carrying out the request from District 7. She also wanted to thank Kelvin Samuels for taking care of the rodent problems that some elderly constituents of hers had. She really appreciates that. The second one, she wants to thank him for the taking care of the kittens that were stuck in the wall. And the third one was she wanted to thank him for addressing the pit bull problems that she had in the area. So she did a lot of thank yous.
Superman.
That's all I have.
Okay, Commissioner Jackson.
Yes. I wrote what I had down. This weekend, Saturday, Southern University of Shreveport will be celebrating their 50th anniversary. And so if you have arrangements, this is an opportunity to celebrate one of the assets in our community. So please, I think they'll be glad to see our face. We've been a supporter of them throughout the years. Dr. Wilson, the Miss America parade, have they reached out to Caddo Parish about getting a float in the parade?
No, sir. A float?
Yes. Are we going to inquire about how can Caddo Parish? Because again, I go back to the question that I had asked Henri is how are we showing folks that we support these projects? These are, we're a supporter. And I think that's one opportunity we can get to maximize our exposure and Caddo Parish as a whole, and we all get one big float. Maybe.
I can tell you what was already been set up.
Okay. But I don't know. But I would hope that we would at least inquire.
I can tell you what's already been set up.
Caddo Parish.
Who's coordinating that, Commissioner Johnson?
I don't know. I'll yield a little bit.
Yeah, hang on, Commissioner Johnson. Can you help us out on this?
Yes. Right now, the floats that would be in the parade would be crew of Centaur, crew of Gemini, crew of Howland, crew of Harambe, and the crew of Sobek. So those are the 5 floats that's in the parade right now. And the contestants will be riding the floats with the different crews.
And no disrespect to the crews, I just think that I would assume that the City of Shreveport, Caddo Parish Commission, the sponsors would at least be extended an opportunity to possibly put a float in or a car or something so that, we could be, I think it's a branding opportunity for Caddo Parish. I don't think we can lose with getting our exposure out there, citizens seeing the good that we do. Okay, I don't know how that worked.
Yes, sir. Randy, I take any notes.
Okay, thank you, Randy. Appreciate it. So yeah, I just think it'll be an opportunity, and if we all, I know a couple people who have some floats.
Okay.
And I don't know who would get some throws or something, but we can throw some pairs.
I think that Brother Todd has some info on that.
Okay,
But
all right.
There is some events going on, in particular dealing with the park, Earl Williamson.
Okay.
Particularly Caddo Lake, different things. So there is some things around the parish that are being done and will be done in the next week. So that will highlight, Caddo Parish.
Right.
Rose Garden.
The Rose Garden, they are going to the Rose Garden,
Right.
that's correct.
Well, again, I don't know if the parade is going to be televised, but I think it's just an opportunity for Caddo Parish to be seen in a positive light again. And so hopefully we would at least inquire about that. The other thing is, Dr. Wilson, I don't know if we followed up on the sending the information to the media I know I saw the Times had an outlet about summer camp programs. I don't know how we package that. When I thought about it, it's a public record anyway, so they're entitled to have it. I don't know if Jeff, y'all would update y'all database to include those.
Chris and I talked about it earlier today. We're still working on that.
Okay, the summer camp programs, and Jeff seems like he's open to adding them. Again, we're not asking people to take on anything more than that they can't handle, but to at least consider that. And I just wanted to ask you, Todd, maybe this is a question. Do we have administration at the top of the agenda or at the bottom of the agenda? Because
We had it at the front.
okay, so we didn't skip over administration.
He didn't have anything.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, because I was lost on that particular, because I think the goal was to move administration back up as well. I remember you said something about an animal service person today.
I'm commenting on that.
Okay. That's it for me, Mr. President. Thank you. I love everybody. Nothing personal now. It's all business now. So,
Commissioner Middleton?
Just briefly, Dr. Wilson, if you just give a short explanation, you teased everyone that we're going to announce the Animal Services Director today. And so I think we just owe it to the public, since we said we're going to do it today. You have technical reasons. Please explain that. That's all I ask.
Yes, sir, I do. As a matter of fact, Commissioner, I was trying to expedite this process because the person I'm dealing with is currently out of the area, and that person had to relocate here. They'll be here Monday. So I didn't want to get ahead of the process, because we still have 2 more things to vet that person on. So based on the outcome of that, I don't want to get ahead of the vetting process because I don't have to eat my words. So that will be completed Monday. Once that person get here, we can complete that process. And I already have the letter prepared for you for your confirmation. It'll go on your agenda on the 14th, and you have to vote on the confirmation on the 17th, and that person will become an employee based on the outcome of the confirmation process.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. Commissioner Atkins?
I just wanted to thank Mr. Glass and his team for checking into the little issue around Elby Circle for me this week. So thank y'all very much. I appreciate y'all. We're always very responsive. Thank you, sir. That's it.
Like that, you're quick. Commissioner Lyndon Johnson?
Yeah.
Because you were speaking for, now you're on for you.
Right. We did have to move the NGO meeting that was scheduled for Monday at 12 to Thursday at 2 o'clock because of the parade. Wanted to make sure, because I'm in the parade, so I had to make sure.
Next Thursday.
Yes, I will have my attire on. So
when is the parade?
it's May 14th at 12 o'clock.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, Commissioner
I'm
Matthew
sorry,
Lynn?
can we just clarify? There's an Economic Development Committee meeting Thursday at 2, is that what you said?
No, this is
NGO.
NGO.
I mean, sorry, NGO Thursday at 2?
Thursday at 2.
Thank you.
Matthew?
I was just going to add, you can never have too many floats in a parade, that's all.
I don't have anything. Commissioner Middleton took care of that. Dr. Wilson, you don't have anything else, do you?
Oh, no, sir.
Okay, so we're moving on to our next item, citizen comments. We couldn't get away. Mr. Settle just had to come in here.
Come on now, brother.
Hold us up for 3 more minutes. Let's go, John. What you got going on, buddy?
Fort Tillwood. I'll make comments on several things. I think it's important that y'all keep the ballot in November on Parks and Recreation only. Voters are distinguishing. If you looked at the last vote in Shreveport, 69% approved. The first one on the ballot, which dealt with employee benefits, 63% did Parks and Recreation. So I thought that people would all vote all yes and all no, but they picked and choose between the 6 on the proposition. So I think that's important. Secondly, I know that one commissioner likes to be in the press a lot, and I have a convertible. If he'll let me drive him in the parade, Commissioner Jackson, we could put a sign on there, Caddo Commissioner, and you'd be happy to help you there.
All right.
I think it's a bad policy that y'all have bundling ordinances that on different topics. And I really do. I mean, today you're concerned about your PR coming up, and you should be, but you bundled an appropriation, a finance matter, with zoning matters. And I think that I just don't think that's good policy, because it kind of looks like that you're worried that it won't go through, and so you put them all together. And so you force people to vote no on zoning that looks like they're against the zoning when they were really against maybe the finance. But I just don't know if it's a good policy to bundle ordinances to save time on totally different topics. And I just suggest you may want to think about it. You may want to look at your bylaws about that. And I know that sometimes when the parliamentary procedures go against somebody, there's discussions about winners and losers and calling out commissioners. So I'm glad today that Commissioner Jackson said that he's going to follow the parliamentary procedure without any gripes about it. It was in his favor today. In the past, he's called out people about that. So, the public does look at this. We're all concerned about this coming up in November. I told the city I would support them on their propositions, and I did. I wrote columns for it, and I paid for an ad, $500 out of my pocket for it. And I will help you all on it. But we really need to keep things separate. And your idea on the tires, taking them at the disposal thing is a real good idea, because that's what most of the trash is out there. I think that when they pick up stuff, it's tires, and tires breed mosquitoes and things like that. So I hope y'all continue expanding those rural areas and keep that fund solid. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Okay, I think our next item is adjournment, if I'm correct. I have a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.
If you don't like it, go change the rules. Everything that I do down here is criticized. Everything.